Okay guys, so we're going to continue talking about the kick just for a little while because there's quite a few things to get your head around. So first of all, there's two parts to a kick. There's the transient, which is the first initial clicky higher sound. Just have a listen, see if you can hear it. And then the second part of the kick is the tail, this part, which is more of a low subbier kind of a sound. Now if you're listening on just on your laptop speakers, you're not going to be able to hear this at all. Get some headphones, or your second best option is some earbuds, but headphones if you can. Otherwise you're just not going to be able to hear this low tail of the kick. But those are two things to listen for, so you can understand how different kicks work in different styles. Got a few styles of dance music loaded up here, so see if you can have a listen to the transient, which is the higher clicky part on the beat, and then afterwards the follow-on lower subbier tail, and see if you can hear those as well as figure out how to describe them, because there are more types of kicks than there are instruments in the orchestra. There's just so many different types for so many different purposes. So it's important to pick a kick that matches the mood and obviously the genre, but certainly the mood and the style of your song. So let's have a listen. So the transient isn't quite as loud in this kick, but it's certainly got a very, very, very weighted, heavy tail. Where are we? This part. Not quite as loud a transient, but the tail is really, really loud. Let's have a look at, say, maybe some progressive psytrance. So the transient is really, really loud in this one. Obviously this is a faster BPM, but yeah, the transient is almost mostly what you can hear, and the tail doesn't really hang around for that long, probably because it doesn't want to get in the way of the bass, which is it's taking up most of the sound. So it's got a really fast kick, and most of the sound is in the transient. It almost sounds like they've almost added a cymbal as well as some kind of hi-hat on the beat as well, perhaps, to this kick. Okay, so that's psytrance. Next we're going to have a listen to just some standard EDM. No, sorry, this is trap. So I can't even hear a transient at all. There just seems to be a really, really fast the tail end of the kick, and then it's making way for that huge bass that is so trappy. And then one more. Here's EDM. So we've got a really clicky kind of transient here, and then quite a fast. Jeez, words are going. I'm a bit tired today. A fast tail as well, because once again the tail doesn't want to hang around, because if your tail and your bass at the same time, well, they're either going to distort or they're going to phase, which means they cancel each other out. Neither of those is a good option, because you want a nice loud bass and you don't want a distorted bass. So if you've got a big bass like in psytrance or in EDM, then you want a pretty short tail on your kick, otherwise it's going to get in the way. Just have another listen. So that's the kick. It's pretty important to get right, and we've already got ours in here. We've got our, how many bars do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. Cool. Now just quickly before we finish up with the kick, I do want to explain to you what a kick is. So kicks are made from sine waves, okay? So what I've done is I've put some virtual instruments on these other tracks here. This one here, this Synth, which is one of my favorite synths. I'm going to open it up by pressing the little spanner there, and now we can see Synth. It's an awesome synth. It's done by the guys at Sonic Academy. Just go to sonicacademy.com and you can get Synth there. I think the next one's out actually for this, which maybe I'll get. But we want to hear what a sine wave sounds like. So sine waves travel, they look like waves. They travel along like that, as opposed to say a saw wave, which goes. It looks like a saw. Yeah. So let's have a listen to a sine wave. Whichever the red dot is on, that's what track will play. So I wanna play the Anna track, so I'm gonna change that red bit to there. So that's what a sine wave sounds like. Put it down an octave. Get that low, subby sound. So as you can see, there's a fundamental pitch down here in the EQ8, which shows us the basically what harmonics are being created by the instrument. So we've got a huge fundamental here. That big bulge there, that's if a trumpet plays an F, then the lowest bulge there will be an F, and then there'll be a whole bunch of other harmonics up there which might not necessarily be F. In fact, they won't. They'll be going up in a particular order, which continues. If a bugler is playing a bugle, then actually the notes that they have available to them, that's what harmonics will appear on every single note. If you don't quite understand what I said, don't worry about it. Anyway, just on a side note, we've got our fundamental here. So that's the note. So I'm playing an A, sorry, a C. So that's the largest bulge there. So when we're creating a kick drum, sine waves are fantastic for that because we don't have all these other harmonics here, which means that we've essentially just got one sound. So what they do is they program a rapid pitch change, and I mean in a fraction of a second. And you can see like a curve here with a sine wave. And so what that does is it creates this kind of a sound. If I were to do it with a saw wave, let's have a look at the difference. Whoop. So see how many more harmonics there were, and see how that fundamental still got a big bulge for the fundamental, but yeah, there's so many more harmonics. So because they want a really clean sound, singular sound, then the sine wave is what's used to create kicks. So it's a super high pitched sine wave that then immediately goes down super fast and then continues to the low tail. So the transient you hear is just the start click. It's still a sine wave, and then the sine wave finishes up to go very low. I mean, what this is, 9 octaves and then down to 0. So the sound is it's traveling quite a distance in terms of pitch very quickly. Now I like this program, Kick Nicky Romero. You don't have to get it because you can just get samples, but it is kind of cool for playing around with kicks if you want a particular sound. So if you just want to have a listen to the kick, let's have a listen. So here's our kick here. I'm going to change the transient so it's a lot lower. See if you hear the difference. Hear the clickiness changing? Now I'm going to change the tail. Now what I was talking about before as well is that sometimes producers add percussion to the start to add to their transient. So if you're thinking, yeah, that's a cool sound, but I wouldn't mind adding a let's put a, what should we put? Let's put a a hat on it. Add a different hat, maybe a little higher. So that's basically, that's essentially Kicks 101. What a kick is. The last thing that we need to discuss is how to tune a kick, which is a little on the tricky side. I'm going to select our kick before, and let's just analyze it, see what is the what key is our kick in. So let's play. So it looks like our kick is an A. So I've just brought up the spectrum analyzer, which you find in audio effects, and if you type in spectrum, we can see that it's an A because where the sine wave is ending up on the tail of the end of the kick, the largest bulge is ending on an A. So that's the overall sound that's being left at the bottom of the kick drum. If we want to find a different kick, one that doesn't tell us what the key is, let's see if we can find out what key it's in. So they'll tell us. Yeah, that one will do. So we can drag that on, and let's just make a few copies on it. If you go Control and then D, then it just duplicates what you've highlighted, which is kind of a faster way of copying things. And then you can highlight all of that, and then go Consolidate. So that's just another way of getting your audio samples onto your arrangement view. What a different sounding kick. So it looks like this kick is in about G or thereabouts. Yeah. So that's essentially how you find out what key your kick drum is in. Don't forget to choose your kicks with your key in mind, otherwise your bass and your kick they'll sound like they're from a tonal perspective they're not really gelling. They just won't sit well. You'll be able to tell after you fix it if it's wrong, that just something wasn't sitting right. So do make sure you tune your kicks.